In every generation, in every home, and in every heart, there lives a story of longing and rebellion, a story of wandering and regret, a story of mercy deeper than shame, and love stronger than distance. Today, we journey into one of the greatest parables ever spoken by Jesus. A story told not with swords or kings, but with a father and his two sons. This is the story of the Prodigal Son, a tale of brokenness and return, of pride and redemption, and of a love that never gives up. Let us step into the dust of ancient roads and witness a journey that mirrors the path of every human soul. There was once a wealthy man, respected, generous, patient. He was a father of two sons, the older, steady and responsible, the younger, curious and restless. The younger son often gazed beyond the fields, beyond the vineyards, beyond the distant hills where travelers passed. He longed for something different, something bigger, louder, wilder. One day, that longing erupted into words he could no longer hold inside. Younger son said, "Father, give me the portion of the inheritance that is mine." A shocking request, for in that culture, inheritance came only after death. To ask for it early was to say, "I want your things without you." But the father, broken-hearted yet calm, granted his son's request. He divided his land, his livestock, his wealth. The younger son gathered everything he had and set off for a far country. The journey away from home was intoxicating. The young man tasted freedom for the first time. No rules, no boundaries, no expectations. The far country greeted him with music, with wine, with laughter that lasted until sunrise. His pockets were full, and so were his days. He became the center of parties, surrounded by people who praised his generosity, people drawn not by love, but by the shine of his fortune. Gold flowed like water, clothes, feasts, entertainment, pleasure, everything he desired, he bought. But wealth, like the morning dew, evaporates quickly, and soon the coins stopped clinking, the friends stopped coming, and the music faded into silence, as if heaven itself were watching his fall. A great famine struck the land. The fields dried, work-bunny said food became scarce. The young man, once wrapped in luxury, was now wrapped in hunger. He sought work, any work, and he found himself in the lowest place he could imagine, a pig farm. To a Jew, pigs were unclean animals, but hunger does not care about honor. There, in the mud, surrounded by animals he once would not even touch, he longed to eat the very pods the pigs were devouring. No one gave him anything. He who once lived like a king now lived lower than a servant. Days passed, nights longer still, and in the depth of his brokenness, a thought pierced his heart. Weak and trembling, he said, "How many of my father's servants have bread enough and to spare, and I am dying here?" For the first time, he saw himself with clarity. His pride melted, his rebellion collapsed. A plan formed, not in arrogance, but in humility. With motivation, he added, "I will arise. Go to my father and say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me as one of your hired servants.' And so he rose, weak, barefoot, clothes tattered, heart heavy with shame. Every step toward home felt like a step through fire. What would his father say? Would he even allow him to return? Would he close the door? Would he call him a disgrace? But still, he walked. The road home is long when your heart is carrying regret. But while the son was still a great distance away, the father saw him. For the father had been watching day after day, hoping, praying, scanning the horizon for the silhouette of the child he loved. And when he finally saw him, thin, broken, limping, the father ran, not walked, not waited. He ran with tears streaming, robes flying, feet pounding the earth. In that culture, noblemen did not run, but love does not measure dignity, nor pride, nor reputation. Love simply runs. The father threw his arms around his son before a single apology was spoken. The younger son cried and said, "Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am not worthy to be called your son." His father interrupted, "Bring the best robe, put a ring on his hand, sandals on his feet, prepare the fatted calf. For my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." And so the household erupted in celebration. Music filled the halls, laughter returned, and the father's joy echoed through every corner of the estate. The son had come home, but not everyone rejoiced. The older son, faithful, disciplined, hard-working, was returning from the fields when he heard the music. A servant rushed to explain, "Your brother has come home, and your father has prepared a feast." The older brother was shocked. What? After all he has done? He refused to go inside. Anger boiled in his chest, and once again, the father went out, this time not running, but gently seeking another wounded heart. He welcomed the older son and said, "My son, please come in." With anger, the older son said, "Look, all these years I have served you. I have obeyed every command, and yet you never gave me even a young goat to celebrate with my friends. But when he returns, this son of yours, who wasted your wealth on sinful living, you throw him a feast." The father's eyes soft, not with frustration, but with compassion. He replied, "Son, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we must celebrate, for your brother was dead and is alive again. He was lost and has been found." And there the parable ends. Jesus leaves the ending open, because this story is not only about them, it is about us. We are the younger son whenever we wander from God, seeking freedom without responsibility, pleasure without wisdom, life without the one who gives it. We are the older brother whenever we let pride darken our hearts, whenever we resent God's mercy toward others, whenever we forget that grace is a gift, not a reward. And the Father the Father. He is the picture of God's heart, a heart that waits, a heart that watches, a heart that runs, a heart that restores, a love that says, no matter how far you've gone, no matter how broken you feel, my arms are open. Maybe you have wandered. Maybe you carry shame. Maybe you feel unworthy. If so, hear this clearly. You are never too far to return. You are never too lost to be found. You are never too broken to be repaired. And you are never, ever unloved. For the Father stands on the road, eyes on the horizon, waiting, hoping, ready to run the moment your heart turns toward home. This is the story Jesus gave us, not to condemn, but to restore. A story of a home that welcomes, a grace that restores, and a love that never gives up. The story of the Prodigal Son. May its truth echo in your heart. May it remind you that mercy has no limit. And may you always remember, no matter where you've been, there is a place where you are still a child, still welcome, still loved. There is a place called home. The end. Subscribe and like for more stories for the soul.